And I'm Noah. I work for a policy nonprofit in DC that helps local governments and state governments electrify programs. And you actually introduce yourself and then talk to it.
Yeah, I'm Tess. I'm Willow. I'm Rose, and I'm just available in the Hi, my name is Teresa, and welcome to the Acacia. I'll be your tour guide today. Before we begin, I'd like to give you a little information about Acacia Ridge. Acacia Ridge is located in the Gulf of Carpentaria of the Atlantic Sea. We are a semi-desert, semi-grassy state with average temperatures of 20 degrees Celsius. We are currently standing in the Central Gulf of Garden. Oh, hey, here comes my friend Ellie. She's an engineer. And Lindsay is a land surveyor. You guys know so much about the city. I'm helping you tour today. Sure, we'd love to. Great. Now, as you begin, let's dive into Acacia Ridge's past. Before going all electric, Acacia Ridge was like all of the city, burning fossil fuels day in and day out, putting more and more CO2 into our atmosphere and harming the environment. After a while, Acacia Ridge became an unhealthy place to be. Due to high levels of CO2, our ocean was acidifying, people could not breathe, and children were getting sick. Acacia Ridge had the highest CO2 levels in the world, and people were fleeing the city and our economy was suffering. So the people of Acacia Ridge decided to go all electric, and in the process had to sacrifice a lot.
For starters, we had to give up all of our non-electric vehicles and eventually use less electricity. This is because it costs a lot to power the whole city. We also have to learn how to use less water. This is because 50% of Acacia Ridge's water comes from desalination.
I've heard about this thing called desalination, but what is that?
Desalination is the process of taking water from the ocean, putting it through various water treatment systems, and then shipping it out for use. The cost, however, is great, which is why we only have one treatment facility, and it's only 50% of our water. The other 50% is groundwater from 200 feet underneath the desert.
There's brine left over from desalination, right?
Yes, that's right.
So what do we do with it?
We turn it into sea salt.
Which you can get at www.acaciaseasalt.com.
The salt used as a long-term brine is done those both ways.
I love that we're making the most of our natural resources. Speaking of nature, if you look to your right, you'll see one of the many vertical garden apartments we have here in Acacia Ridge. Most residents live in these.
The best part about these apartments, though, are the drones that manage them. These drones were specifically designed by agricultural engineers to help with agriculture around the city. These drones can also help with land surveying, delivery of goods, infrastructure, emergency services, and so many other things. Our fleet consists of about 312 drones. Teresa?
I was about to say, residents adopt a vertical garden apartments live in single or multi-family housing located in our mixed residential and commercial zones. You will notice from today's tour that all buildings in Acacia Ridge have solar panels on them. This is one of the main ways we get energy from the sun. Another way we get energy from the sun is through our solar power towers, which are located in the Tsunami Desert away from the city. These towers work by putting a circle of nearby the tower that deflects sunlight from all angles up to the receiver on the top of the tower to generate electricity. You may be thinking of this for the future. This is a lot of expensive technology. How can Acacia Ridge afford all of it? But one way we afford it is we choose our trees. Acacia Ridge has many walking boat tours all throughout the city. And a great part about our tour boats is that they're all electric and driven autonomously, with a human crew on hand to assist if a problem arises. Actually, this is true for all boats in Acacia Ridge, even our cargo ships.
The marine and mechanical engineers worked hard to design these cargo ships, as well as our fleet of 40 EV assault planes. These planes consist of a front and a back half that can be attached easily.
Hey, that reminds me of the big trucks that we drive around our city. Ellie, tell them more about those.
Of course, those are our pantograph trucks. These trucks work with a two-pole system and overhead wiring to ensure quick and equal delivery of energy even at high speeds. A pantograph sits on top of these trucks, which is what allows the energy to be delivered. These pantographs can also detach from the wiring and drive all throughout the city.
Not only do we use this system for our large trucks, but we also use the system for our public transportation. Speed and efficiency are the main benefits of this system. Fortunately, Acacia Ridge has no shortage of rent time, but for those occasional race days, Acacia Ridge can museums, theaters, libraries, and sporting events you can visit. Oh, and look, we're coming up along one of the many famous swimming beaches that Acacia Ridge is known for.
But what you won't see, even with our crystal clear waters, is our tidal generators located off the coast as well as our grid turbines. They are located here because that's where we'll find those strong wind that Acacia Ridge has.
As we enter back into the heart of the city, you may notice that the roads in Acacia Ridge don't look like normal roads. That's because they're not normal roads. Roads in Acacia Ridge are made of durable solar panel material that can be driven on top of sunlight. And a great part about our roads is how they're set up. Acacia Ridge uses a grid system of main roads to divide up the city. This system was designed by land surveyors and civil engineers. And thanks to our amazing grid system, Acacia Ridge is in 15 minutes away. It's super convenient for day-to-day. And our main modes of transport during Acacia Ridge are electric cars, e-bikes, e-scooters, and of course, walking. Due to our main modes of transportation, you'll notice on today's tour that there are charging stations all throughout the city. We keep talking about all of this electricity, but you haven't actually told them how it gets to where it needs to go.
The answer to that is microgrids.
Microgrids are so important when designing a city.
That's so true. Our microgrid was designed by electrical engineers to ensure quick and safe transportation of electricity all throughout the city.
But yet we never see any power lines.
That's because they're all underground. Having underground lines negates the risks to our population and reduces repairs.
Well, folks, this was that I'm going to. Overall, Acacia Ridge is on many people's list of places I want to live. With our 100% electrified city and our very positive attitude towards the environment, Acacia Ridge is a strong leader in electrified city.
Thank you for visiting Acacia Ridge.
And we hope to see you again soon.
As you were designing and building your city, not going to ask if there were any, but when you ran into a challenge or a problem, how did you solve it?
One challenge we encountered when we were building our model was actually the way we did our ocean, which is because we painted it, covered it in hot glue, and then took a heat gun to smooth it out, and then took a cotton ball and stuff to make the waves. We did this because one of our main sources of power is tidal, and we wanted to show this, show the water and how important it is in our city. But because of this, the board we kind of used, it warped the board and made it go like this. And so we had to use a lot of screws and more support than we thought we would need to attach it to a spin flat.
Another issue that we encountered was trying to figure out how we wanted to build our gas traffic. We couldn't figure out what materials we wanted to use, how we wanted to build it, like what size it was going to be. But eventually we figured out that making it bigger would be better, and also that using wood would work.
And relating back to the foundation of the project, the essay, one thing we struggled with for a very long time was what type of road we want to use. A lot of us had different opinions on roads. Some of us wanted snapping roads, impermeable pavement, or roads that could charge your electric cars. And the way we solved that is by just looking at our city and not like exact opinions, but looking at what would work better for our city. Acacia Ridge has a lot of sunshine, so we decided that solar roads would be the best because of all the sunlight.
I would agree with divide the responsibility for the
When dividing up responsibilities, the Acacia Ridge team looked at every team member's strengths and weaknesses and gave each team member a job they would excel at. It was also based on personal preference too, like if someone really liked to research public transportation or just transportation in general, we would give them a transportation one to be made of what they were really interested in and not what they were passionate about. One example of this is the wiring that is underneath our major our kind of crime did because it's interested in the wire.
That was an awesome presentation. Good job. I am curious how you chose the solar power instead of just like plain solar panels. And similarly, how do you choose the handicraft trucks instead of just plain chargeable plug-in trucks?
So we chose the solar power towers just because of how much power they can generate. Where we're located, there's a lot of desert between us and other big cities like Sydney or Melbourne. So we have a lot of open space to put a big solar power tower like that. And these solar power towers give us a lot of electricity. And we also chose this because while solar panels are super effective, and we do have them on every roof, it's just we needed more energy to power everything in our city, and we chose power for the community stuff. We chose our handcraft trucks, like Adam has said before, when we were deciding on roads and looking at what we do best for our city, we were very strongly considering solar roads that would charge your car as you drove, because a big inconvenience of having long in your city is having to stop your car and recharge it when it gets low. So handcrafts would do that for us, while also saving space because we're preparing for a bigger community with our solar panels. The handcraft lines also ensure that our big cargo trucks are not going to run out of battery in the middle of the road. And that'd be really bad because not only would we just have a truck sitting there, the produce inside could also come into the back.
In your city with the citizens, from young people to the higher education, what do you have and what are you doing that's innovative to educate the citizens?
So Acacia Ridge's education system is mainly focused on STEAM. So this also helps our city and our economy because it takes so many more jobs of engineers, land surveyors, architects to expand the more innovative infrastructure.
For those who just, really talking about the disabilities and the ability to go people of the elderly and how they get around.
Acacia Ridge prepares for people with disabilities and low-income and vulnerable residents by having many programs for jobs and education and affordable, even free housing and clean, safe neighborhoods. Also, all public transportation and public buildings have wheelchair access.
If you were living in the picture, which would be your favorite part of the city? And maybe what would be one thing that you think the city still has to improve on?
So are you just talking about like activities?
Yeah, anything that you would like us to see.
I think I really like the beaches. Our beaches are very clean. We focus on it. It's just a fun activity. It's very beautiful for the citizens to do. One thing I think we could improve on. That's a hard question. I think we could improve on the amount of energy and the efficiency of our solar panel loads and our solar panel windows that are also on our windows, which is a clear film that generates solar energy. I think these are our least large amounts of solar electricity generated, so I think we could improve the efficiency of those.
In your solar towers, is that all water-based or do you use some other material to transfer energy by the time you make steam to get to the turbine?
So it's mostly just steam to the turbine. The way we get it from the power tower to the city is through underground power lines, and those power lines go
While it's still from the tower, or is it all water that you're using?
The thing about this day-to-day life and how it's something goes like you're getting off still, you have the time to make a job or how does that work?
I think church citizens do work a 5-day work week, but Friday we have half day, so there's more time to enjoy the week. And on Friday, it's almost how long days we go, but of course, it's more of the technology. It also depends on the age of the job. Some jobs, like the doctor says, that we can work 12 hours and then have the next day off so that they're ready to work again. So,
What could another city learn from Acacia Ridge if they wanted to follow its path and decarbonize and reap all those benefits?
I think most people find that it'll take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. I think one thing that's a real struggle is that it takes a long time. I feel like the world today is in a period of time where we have all this technology. The problem is it's just very hard to implement. So I think one thing other cities could learn is we just have to keep going. We just have to keep putting up solar panels and building all this renewable energy sources. And we just have to keep doing it because we're working a lot harder.
They also might have to learn that now it's going to cost a bit more for them to try to do this. Like, costing a lot, that's something cities don't really like. But if you want to have clean air for your residents and make it a place that everybody wants to live, you have to be willing to spend a little bit more money from the citizens also might have to learn that.
And I think other things we could learn is to
works and how it can be improved.
Should we go with the top one?
Is that what the time is?
Sure.
So, I'm going to spend this one. Up front, we have our hydrogen generator, so this is just opening down the draw. So this is on our boats. And then up here, you will find our mixed commercial and residential zones and special structure regulations. And then right here is a large segment of commercial zone that separates the industrial zone from the residential zone, just so that the residential zone is a little bit more higher than the surface. Also, in this factory, all of the materials are reused things. So just to be put into these are like windows, these are using the cardboard and on top. There are whole industrials and full batteries.
Is your agriculture in the city or is that?
So with our vertical gardens, we actually grow food on these, which saves soil and space because we're growing up. And then we have greenhouses on the outskirts of the city, should anything ever happen to our gardens. And it just requires a big and the only resource for food that we actually import is meat. So meat is exponentially the most relevant of it.
Also, there's actually the problem having to animal farming. It's super complicated. And then on this side of the model, as I was saying, we have a vertical garden apartment. That's just an example of our drawing what is the building and also
Then in the middle, we have our pantograph up. There's the graph attached to a power line to this white magnet strategy. And then we have our solar power tower, which, as you can see, is surrounded by mirrors, which is how they work. Mirrors reflect the sunlight onto the receiver, and then to receive the converts it into energy.
yes. And on the part, our merchandise, our the blades are 3D printed. If you see craft over our top, this is the PVC pipe. There's electrical wires running and connected to the warehouse. Yeah, and one thing about our solar power towers is that it's electrical power towers on the same scale as our city. And the reason we do this is to just show how big our city is. It's massive, bigger than the average.
What were some of your main materials built in the city? Where did you get it?
Our teachers have been doing this for a lot of years, and so we have a room in our school called the Makerspace that has buttons of all these different random things we've been donated. Most of our buildings here are the old spindles or batteries.
So all of our industrial section is just on includes batteries, little computer parts, it's all the industrial, and then these are little drones throughout the city, and those are just pieces at a time.
Yeah, and some of the buildings that we can yeah. So only we have about the blades and the board that we built. No, and also the wood that we made that truck out of, we cut from a board and those include the rest of it. This is like a cardboard roll with old felt and a